So you've been very outspoken on what's happening in Israel. Give me your assessment of how the Biden administration is handling the response to what Hamas started.
Sure. Well, for just 30 seconds, I can give you a quick recap of really what's going on here, and then we can talk about the administration. I would say this is nothing short of an attempted second Holocaust, period. These people do not want any Jew living in the ancient land of Israel, where Jesus from Nazareth was from, which the entire world knows that there's a little connection between Jews and, say, Jerusalem, where the Western Wall is, and the ancient temple. And every time you go there, and Sean, I'm sure you've been there probably several times, you know, they're excavating. It's an incredible country because they're always building up, because they're a technological powerhouse. So they're building incredible cities, but they're also always building down in that they're excavating and unearthing history. And they find ancient cups with Hebrew writing, where you can go to the Judean hills, now unfortunately commonly known as the West Bank, the Judean hills, where the story of Hanukkah, that whether you're religious or not, everyone knows, is the story of the oil and the 8 nights of the Jews defending Judea. You're not going to believe who lived in Judea from the Greek invaders. But history, history has been upended. There is nothing, to be clear, and then I'll talk about the administration. There is nothing the Israelis can offer Hamas other than complete submission and a second annihilation that will make them happy. That is what this is about. It has nothing to do with a territorial dispute. There was never a state of Palestine. There was the British Empire 75 years ago, before the modern state of Israel. They offered to split the land. The Jews said yes. The Arabs said no. There weren't even people known as the Palestinians at that time. The Palestine Post, which existed, was a Jewish newspaper that the day Israel won the 1948 war became the Jerusalem Post. It was Jews that worked there. The Palestinian soccer team was almost all Jews, et cetera, et cetera. As far as but we could do a history lesson for another show, Sean.
I'd like that, actually. I love it, because I think I was having a conversation with a family member over the weekend, just so you know. And there's a lot of people who have really drawn into this story for unfortunate reasons because of what's happening. But I think the context that you're providing is important, because there is a lot of misinformation out there. And so, just to be clear, to salute what you're doing, is that there's a lot of people, because of our education system, because of other issues, that don't have the context. And it's super helpful what you're doing. So thank you.
Thanks. I'm trying, I know we have limited time here, so I'm trying to do a lot in a short way, and I'm talking very fast, but I would welcome anyone watching this to fact check anything I said. There was never an independent state known as Palestine. There was the British Mandate for Palestine. That was an area of the earth that Jews lived, and they were not Palestinians, they were Arabs. So then at the 1947 partition, when the British Empire was falling, they said, hey, let's just split the land. You guys take some and you guys take some. The Jews said yes, which was a smaller amount of land than Israel now. The Arabs said no. 5 Arab armies launched a war. They lost, and then Israel ended up bigger. Israel has repeatedly given land back for peace. Israel had Sinai, which, by the way, borders Gaza. So if you are concerned, if anyone watching this is concerned about the people of Gaza, it's interesting because Israel gave Sinai back to Egypt for peace, which largely has existed for decades now. Notice that Egypt is not opening up the border with Sinai. Sinai's empty. I've been to Sinai. Sinai is probably 50 or 100 times larger than Israel itself. They could put all of the Gazans there and build a society tomorrow, and everyone could fund it, and then the headache would be over. But Sean, they're trying to extend the headache, right? That nobody wants the Palestinian people. It's very unfortunate for the average Palestinian, which I obviously make a differentiation between the average Palestinian and the average Hamas member. But Hamas wants to extend the war. They want dead Israelis and they want dead Palestinians, because you can even see in the weeks since this has happened, you can see the mainstream narrative flip. Even though there's American hostages, there's Israeli hostages, we have videos of burned babies and raped women, suddenly the media is going, oh, but look at the Palestinians. But it's Hamas who's literally firing rockets out of hospitals. We know that their command center is under the biggest hospital in all of Gaza. Have you seen, Sean? Out of all of the horrific videos, the butchering of unimaginable, it's just awful. Have you seen the one that got me the most was there is a video of a couple Hamas guys with babies, holding the babies. Did you see that? The babies are not dead yet.
Is this the one that you posted?
Yeah, I posted it a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That to me, and I'm a father of 2 young boys, 1 year old. I mean, the chilling idea of these demons, and they are demons holding these babies. And note that AOC isn't calling for the hostages to be returned. AOC and Ilhan Omar and our Hamas caucus here, they're not calling for Hamas to stop firing rockets. Even right now, as everyone's saying, Israel should de-escalate, they're still firing rockets endlessly. They use their own people as human shields. But what this all boils down to more than anything else is, does the West want to stand up for the West or not? And for all of the people, and I'm sympathetic to this point, I really am, Sean. Look, I happen to be Jewish, so this one obviously cuts close to the bone. But for someone that's not Jewish, or you don't care about religion, you're completely secular, you don't care about history, you don't care about geography, if you think that if they cause a second Holocaust and you get rid of the 8 million Jews living in Israel, you think that the people that are protesting in London and in Paris, the thousands of people that they've imported who want nothing to do with a modern democratic Britain or France, do you think that they're all going to be like, okay, we're good, we're going home now?
Right.
No, it will be the beginning of the whole thing. So it's insane. It's a crazy thing. But I think as Israel goes the West.
I think 2 things. One, to your point, I don't really care if you don't appreciate the geopolitical, strategic importance of Israel, the religious thing. On a human level, what is going on is disgusting, and it is barbaric. And the idea that just as a human being, when they chanted death to Israel, death to America, I just stopped and say, okay, if you can look at that image and know that it could happen to you in Ohio or Montana or Florida, because once they come in, that's the same thing they're going to do to at that level, care. Whatever it takes.
By the way, Sean, do you think that maybe we should have had more attention paid to our border for the last 2 years? Even Christopher Wray, right now, our FBI, the head of the FBI director, is saying, well, we're not exactly sure who came in and who knows what's going to happen here. Let's not forget, Sean. I mean, this is chilling as hell. But they planned this thing. We're now being told they planned this thing for 2 years. Well, we've had an open border for 2 years. What is going on here in the United States?
That's what I'm telling you. Wait till it comes here.
So to answer your question now, which was about the administration, I think that Biden's first statement was pretty good. I think Israel has a duty to protect its citizens. And we all know also no country on earth would be asking for a proportional response, or anything else. This only applies when it comes to Israel, right? So, okay, you want a proportional response? Can we find some Israeli soldiers to rape and murder and burn 1,300 Palestinians? It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Is it proportional to drop nuke bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or do you do it to end a war? Every rule that they seemingly apply to Israel doesn't apply to any other nation, and I think the Israelis have just had it, quite frankly.
So what is the way forward? I mean, how you've got this situation where American media are saying, oh, we've got to be careful when we go in there. And to your point, these guys in Hamas are not stupid. They put the hospital, like you said, they know what they're doing with the tunnels, with the hostages. There was a commentator I heard this morning that said Israel's had someone taken hostages and it took them 5 years to find them. You think that they're going to find these 30, 40, whatever people? I mean, these guys are not, they are serious about how they fight. They make human beings, human shields. How does this, I don't even know how you say, how does it end? What's the way forward?
Well,
because I feel like we're in too deep.
Right. Well, look, first off, if there's any chance you can save these hostages, you have to try to do it. And let's not forget, we don't know how many American hostages are still there. They killed 14 Thai citizens. I mean, there's people from virtually, probably about 20 different countries that are either dead or hostages right now. So every country should care about this. Again, whether you care about Jews or not, or Israel or history or whatever, like we do have nations that have citizens that you should care about. But how does it end? I mean, in essence, and this is, I hope the world will wake up to this. Egypt and Gaza share a border.
Yep.
That border has 2 walls. It has a 20-foot cement wall underground. Egypt should allow their Palestinian brothers in. You let them in, let Israel deal with Hamas however they have to. Pray that they don't lose thousands of their young men in the quest to save these babies, but they will do everything that they possibly can. And in some respects, I mean, this sounds extreme, but in some respects, nobody can live in Gaza anymore. Gaza should basically be a demilitarized zone between Egypt and Israel. and let them have Sinai or reintegrate it into Egypt. And by the way, the world, which apparently is very sympathetic to the Palestinians, can give Egypt a whole bunch of money to deal with it. But nobody can live there anymore. No society could deal with this. Sean, imagine if one person you knew was beheaded or burned to death or whatever. Or imagine if one rocket, not thousands, one rocket was shot from Toronto in Canada to Detroit in the United States. We would bomb Mexico. So no country would put up with this at all. And they're going to have to do things that are probably not that pleasant. But you know this, Sean. They are literally dropping leaflets right now, warning people, which no other nation would do. Get out of these houses. We have to bomb here because we know Hamas is there. Hamas is blowing up the roads to stop letting people move south. They are trying to kill as many Palestinians as possible. Hamas.
It's disgusting. Dave Rubin, so much that I wanted to get into today with you politically, but obviously this is something that you are very, very knowledgeable on and passionate about, rightly so. And I appreciate you making time for us today.